In a lonely log cabin in the Kentucky wilderness, a boy was born with nothing but a hunger for knowledge and a heart for justice. Abraham Lincoln's childhood was carved from hard labor, split timber, and the silence of the American frontier. He was a giant of a man, standing 6'4", with hands calloused by the heavy swing of a frontier axe. With no formal schooling, he walked miles just to borrow a single book, reading by the flickering light of a fireplace until the embers turned to ash. But life was not kind to young Abe. At just 9 years old, he watched his mother fade away, leaving a void of sorrow that would haunt him forever. This early loss cast a shadow of melancholy over him, a deep sadness he called the hypo, which he would carry like a heavy cloak for the rest of his life. While working as a young man on the Mississippi River, Lincoln witnessed a sight that broke his heart and lit a fire in his soul: a slave market in New Orleans. Seeing human beings sold like cattle in chains, he made a silent, ironclad vow. "If I ever get a chance to hit this thing, I'll hit it hard." He traded his axe for law books, moving to the small town of New Salem to fight for justice in the dusty courtrooms of Illinois. But his rise was not easy. Lincoln's early life was a series of crushing failures. He lost his first race for the legislature, his general store went bankrupt, and he spent years paying off what he called the national debt. Yet, like a prairie oak strengthened by the howling wind, every defeat only made his resolve deeper and his voice sharper. He rose through the political ranks not with money or fame, but with the sheer power of his honesty, earning the nickname Honest Abe. In 1860, against every possible odd, the rail splitter from the West was elected as the 16th president of a divided United States. But his victory was the spark for a national nightmare. The country tore itself apart as the South seceded, and the Civil War began. Lincoln arrived in Washington in the dead of night, disguised to avoid assassins. As president, he watched his soldiers die by the thousands in muddy trenches. The burden was immense. In his darkest hour, he even lost his beloved 11-year-old son, Willie, to a fever. The president wept in the corridors of the White House, alone in his grief, but he knew the Union could not wait for his tears. Lincoln realized that this war had to be about more than just territory. It had to be about the very soul of humanity. In 1863, he took a bold step that changed history. He signed the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring that millions of enslaved people were, thenceforward and forever free. Later that year, standing over the blood-soaked graves of Gettysburg, he gave a 2-minute speech that redefined democracy itself. He proclaimed that a government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Finally, in 1865, the guns fell silent, and the Union was saved. Lincoln had achieved the impossible, but the savior's work was tragically cut short. On a quiet night at Ford's Theater, a single shot rang out. Abraham Lincoln died a martyr, but he lived long enough to see a nation reborn without chains. He held a breaking world together with nothing but his iron will, proving that a house divided cannot stand, but a man with a vision can rebuild it forever.